So you have Jeff Zucker out at CNN. And by the way, CNN reporters are all upset about it. CNN reporters are unhappy. They don't like that he's gone. They say Jeff Zucker brought a level of focus to CNN, a level of camaraderie to CNN. He boosted morale at CNN. Cult leaders do that. And now, like in a cult, Jeff Zucker violates the standards that are set for everyone else, and the cult is upset that their leader is gone. Here's Allison Camerata from CNN when the news broke.
Yes, and obviously we know Michael and Amy and Ken. We love them. We'll be in good hands. But I do just want to say something personal for a moment, if I may.
Sure.
And that is, I mean, I feel it deeply personally, but also I think I speak for all of us and our colleagues. This is an incredible loss. It's an incredible loss. Jeff is a remarkable person and an incredible leader.
Listen to that. This is a cult of personality. Jeff Zucker's got the ratings in the tank at CNN. Lost credibility with CNN. Before that, he was at NBC and harmed NBC. He helped ruin a film studio. But he was a dynamic personality, and so they liked him. You've got Gayle King at CNN saying, well, it was a consensual relationship. She herself works at a network where the head of the network was engaged in several consensual relationships, but they really weren't. Ultimately, the women felt pressured. Now, this relationship is long-term, but the bottom line here is that these are the elite. And they live life in a way that they would attack you for living. They don't believe the rules apply to them. When small business owners in 2020 began protesting because they wanted their businesses to reopen, they saw the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, reopen Georgia ahead of any other state, including Florida. Florida and DeSantis remained closed longer than Brian Kemp kept Georgia closed. And by May, these business owners were like, well, Georgia is open. Why can't we be reopened? And they began protesting. The media elite attacked them, said if they got COVID, they needed to be deprived of resources because they were foolish to gather like that. How dare they? The elite wanted everyone shut down except themselves. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, was willing to go privately to the French Laundry restaurant to celebrate Thomas Keller, the famous chef whose restaurant it is, was caught hanging out with a crowd of people, maskless, while demanding everyone else stay out of restaurants and keep their masks on. The rules don't apply to him. Gavin Newsom the other day was filmed at the football, at the Rams game against the 49ers. He was without a mask, surrounded by celebrities and rich people without masks, and then lied about it and said, I had my mask on except when I was eating. He had no food, no drink. Was seen repeatedly. The mayor of Los Angeles took a picture with Magic Johnson, the basketball star. Wasn't wearing his mask. He said, I held my breath. Do you really believe him? Held his breath for a pretty long time, given how many pictures there were of him without a mask on. They think you're foolish. They think you're fools. They think you're stupid. They think the rules apply to you and not them. They can get on their private plane and take their mask off. They can hang out with other enlightened rich people, take their masks off. Barack Obama's party. There was nothing wrong with Barack Obama's party, except you weren't allowed to have one. When Barack Obama had his big birthday party, everybody else was shut down, but Obama had his maskless party. It turned into a super spreader event. But they were enlightened people who had all been vaccinated. You Hicks and Rubes, however, how dare you get together? There is a double standard in the country. The enlightened elite don't think the rules apply to them. The rules are there for you, not for them. The rules are there for your protection because you are not an enlightened elite. You don't have the access to the money, the fame, and the cool people to be able to live your life, so you need the rules to box you in. It frees them up too. There is a coming revolt against the elite in this country. We see this in some degree by their shifting allegiances. This is what leaves people at CNN perplexed. How come Joe Rogan gets more people listening to him? Trust. Trust is why. Trust. They trust Joe Rogan because Joe Rogan is extraordinarily wealthy. But he doesn't come across as extraordinarily wealthy. He comes across as a man of the people, relatable, willing to relate, willing to not be condescending, willing to not be judgy about the people who don't wear a mask or take a vaccine, where CNN is condemnatory. There's a double standard. And if they're not going to live up to the standard they make everyone else live up to, no one's going to live up to the standard. Teachers' unions are another way. They want you to force your kids to be in masks. They want you to force your kids to get vaccines. But yet they don't want teachers punished if they don't do the same thing. They want to protect teachers. They want to live by a double standard as well. Elected officials are notorious about this. The mayor of Austin, Texas, ordered everyone to stay home and away from parties, and then flew on a private jet to Cancun, Mexico to hang out with his friends at a big party and a big celebration while people in Austin, Texas were not allowed to, and then got all over Ted Cruz for trying to take his family to some warmth when the power went out in Texas, as if Ted Cruz could do something about the power. Here's the problem. We have a fundamental breakdown in the country. CNN literally sent a reporter who I know, who's a very nice guy, but I think he shouldn't have done it, sent this reporter to a grandmother's house in Florida to demand she answer his questions about why she shared information on Facebook that turned out to be surreptitiously from the Russians. It was about a Hillary Clinton protest. How dare she share this information? Why didn't she know better? They bullied a man on the internet who shared a GIF, an animated graphic of Donald Trump body slamming a wrestler with the CNN logo superimposed on the guy's head as if Donald Trump was taking out CNN. And CNN, let me read you part of their statement. CNN reserves the right to publish his identity should anything change, meaning his behavior. Pretty authoritarian. CNN demanded an apology from the guy for daring to ridicule CNN. Remember, they all came after the guy who put up the video of Nancy Pelosi, and he slowed it down to make her speech sound slurred. And then they came after Facebook for refusing to delete the video when everyone else did. The elite don't think you should have the same things as them. And so the problem we have in the country is that we are more and more mindful in a country that famously has no aristocracy, where famously you can get ahead on your merits. The left in this country, the elite in this country, who are primarily of the left, have stacked the deck so hard you can't get ahead. You can't get to their level. They make sure you can't. They have become an aristocracy. And what's so laughable here is you have people among that aristocracy who say, oh, well, we should level the playing field. The inequality keeps getting worse and worse. And their proposals don't actually do anything to fix the level of inequality, just make those unequal rubes a little more comfortable so they shut up. Bad things are going to happen because of this. What I find remarkable is a few weeks ago, Brian Stelter at CNN went after Radar, an online publication, for noting Jeff Zucker's affair with this woman. It was shameful that Radar should expose this. And now everyone at CNN is shocked and appalled that turns out Jeff Zucker was having an affair they all knew about. And they're upset that he got canned for having an affair after years of railing on the sexual double standards in the office place. It's fine for their cult leader, but not for you, not for me. And it's fine for Gayle King to say, oh, yeah, it was a consenting relationship. He shouldn't have lost his job. Pay no attention to the women who couldn't advance into the office because Jeff Zucker was putting his mistress in a position of power. But it's okay. They want you stuck. It's like the fight against school choice. They don't want you in their kids' private schools. That's why they hate school choice. They say it's about accountability. Really, it's about they don't want your kids in their kids' private school. They don't want you getting the education they pay for. How dare you? They work hard and make a lot of money to send their kid to that prestigious private school. They don't want you there. That's why they value the legacies in the Ivy Leagues. We can shut out the Asian kids who do so well, but don't you shut out my kid because I went to Harvard, I went to Yale, I went to Princeton. They formed an aristocracy, and they will fight to keep it. And ironically, they champion the voices who decry the inequality, the voices of the elite who decry the inequality, knowing that those people will never actually do anything to break up that new American aristocracy. You know what would really break up the new American aristocracy? Electing people who favor the innovators, who favor getting government out of the way, who favor shrinking the safety net and encouraging people to come up with innovative ideas to take out the rich and innovate in ways that beat them at their own game. But no. Time and time again, the people who scream about inequality in this country that the media heralds as the saviors of the poor are the people who actually want to preserve the status quo because they know it. They just don't like that you know it, that they think they're better, and they think that them in charge makes the world a better place. That's why so many people at CNN are upset Jeff Zucker is out. They really thought he did a good job. Pay no attention to the ratings.